What's up, guys? This is Mike Loris with the third and final game between GDB and Navi from the Starseries Season 3. So keep in mind this replay is from a while ago. But I'm just going to blast through every single one of these. The bands Wisp, Jakiro, Templar Assassin, as well as the Bat Rider. Bat Rider and Jakiro were in the last game on the GDB side. We're decently effective, so this game we're going to have a whole bunch of new heroes. Navi actually first picking the Shadow Shaman as well as the Queen of Pain. Typically you could pick up a Shadow Shaman a little bit later, but I guess what they want to do is really shut down the Darkseer. If you get a Hex opening before he gets that Surge off and then shackle him, doesn't matter how fast the Darkseer is moving if he is disabled. Navi also going to go with that very standard mid Queen of Pain kind of thing. Get a lot of burst damage on the board, a lot of mobility as well. So far their strategy has yet to shape up. But if your strategy shapes up within the first two picks, then you're doing something extremely wrong. You ideally would not want to reveal your entire strategy until the 5th pick, sometimes until the 4th pick. But then that just keeps the enemy team guessing, and GDB, they're going to go, what? What is this? They're going to go for Pudge and Omni Knight. I believe that's something that Navi have been doing, Puppy on the Omni Knight, Dendy on the Pudge. But GDB say, whatever you could do, Navi, we could do better, and we're going to prove it to you by beating you in this best of 3, and we're going to move on in the winner's bracket. So Navi, they're going to be up against, well, heroes that they typically use a lot with Darkseer, Light of Heaven, Dendy, Pudge, Puppy, Omni Knight. Navi, they're going to be up against their pretty heroes that they typically use a lot. So we'll see how this game actually plays out. I believe it's Black who plays the Pudge on the GDB side. Yeah, it should be Pudge, if I remember correctly. Darkseer is probably going to be played by Bambo on that hard lane. So they do have the option of running the Pudge in the safe lane or the mid lane. Last game, Pudge in the mid lane wasn't that fantastic for Navi. Typically, Navi would like to run the Pudge on a protected lane, but I guess it just didn't happen last game. The bans are just flying out. GDB banning out all of the junglers once again, tailoring their bans to Puppy. Although Light of Heaven could also play the Enigma. I do feel like GDB just wanted to get rid of all the junglers, and there you go. 3 jungler bans. Enchantress is the only one available for Navi. Still a decent pickup, not Enchantress. But we'll see if Navi actually want to do that. With the pick of the Brewmaster, their lanes are going to be a little bit strange. Navi's bans, more support-oriented, Rubik as well as Lestrak, and the hard lane in the Bounty Hunter. So GDB, we're going to see what they want to do, because so far they have a decent amount of team fight, but they don't really have that right clicker. They're going to pick up another support hero in the Venomancer, so between Veno and Omni Knight, their support lineup should be just fine to deal with all the wards and courier and stuff like that. And Navi going to go with the Lycanthrope. GDB going to cap their lineup with the Pugna, so they are going to go for this giant AoE team fight goodness. Pugna is actually a very, very good hero against Queen of Pain because of that Nether Ward. If Queen of Pain unleashes a Sonic Wave, well, let's just take a look at both of the spells real quick. What is that? Let's say it's level 3, 1.5 damage multiplier of 500 at level 3 on Sonic Wave. That's 750 damage that she gets dealt when she casts a Sonic Wave. Absolutely insane damage. GDB, they're going to be lacking that designated right clicker, so their lineup is on a clock. If this game gets too late, then the Lycanthrope from Navi gonna get out of control. And even though they do have some pretty good anti-Lycan tools, they have Dismember, they do have Decrepify from Pugna, they do have the Heal and Guardian Angel from the Omni Knight as well. On top of that, the Surge from Darkseer. Just the fact that Navi will be able to deal sustained physical damage will give them an edge in the super late game. But GDB, they have a pretty solid pushing lineup. Venomancer, Pugna, very, very solid. And Navi going to go with the Clockwork. Now, Clockwork is a hero that, as of this cast, has been seen more and more. But as of this replay, Clockwork is still kind of an oddball hero. But we'll see. We'll see, because Clockwork, I don't believe, was changed substantially between the 0.74 and 0.75 patches. So, Clockwork is going to make Navi's lane struggle just a little bit. But first, let's go over GDB's side, because theirs is a little bit more straightforward. Sing Sing is going to be playing the Pugna, going to head towards the mid lane. Bambo heading towards the bot lane as the Darkseer, actually. So it's going to be an aggressive tri-lane from GDB, possibly. Alex is going to be playing the Venomancer. Black is going to be playing that Pudge. And Kuroki is the last one as the Omni Knight. On the Navi side, we have Ars Art playing the Shadow Shaman for like the millionth time. Havorse is going to be playing the Brewmaster, actually. Dendi on the Queen of Pain. So Dendi most likely going to go mid. Havorse is probably going to get Protected Farm at the top lane. Light of Heaven is going to be playing the Clockwork. He's going to head towards bot. And Lycanthrope is going to be played by Puppey, going to be jungling it up. Now, this is a patch where Lycanthrope is severely weakened. His wolves have, in comparison, very, very low amounts of HP from the previous version. Clockwork on the bot lane will be up against Bambo's Darkseer, and to be honest, I don't see Clockwork enough to actually know who is going to get an edge on this lane. I do believe Darkseer should be able to win it out with the Ion Shell, because Clockwork, well, he's a melee hero, and Ion Shell has melee range, and it does a lot more damage than the, what is it called, Cogs? Battery Assault? No, Battery Assault. It does a lot more damage than the Battery Assault. So, that should give the Darkseer an edge. Let's see where Clockwork is actually firing. Is he going to hit? He's going to miss completely. Light of Heaven is going to be down there all by himself. Puppey, what are you doing with these wolves? Look at NPC Dota Slark visual. Pretty sure these wolves have a little bit of an identity crisis right here. Let's go over some of these lanes. We do have Dendi as the Queen of Pain versus Sing Sing's Pugna. Now Dendi as the Queen of Pain. Queen of Pain has a much better attack animation, has a little bit more base damage. I think at level 1, Pugna will have a little more base damage once he hits, I believe, the level 2-3 mark. So that will give him an edge from there. But Dendi is going to have a little bit of nukes coming his way. The nukes should fly, but all in all, the lane should be relatively even. Both heroes are going to be going for the bottle, but in a race to see who gets the actual runes, Dendi's going to have a very, very large advantage there just because he does have that blink. But this lane should be relatively even. We'll check back on that in just a little while. Puppey is going to be jungling as the Lycanthrope, not even using his wolves, actually. He's playing it like he plays his Omni Knight, just doing the double pulls in the jungle. Got that Quelling Blade, why not? And if you could have your wolves deal damage, they'll still do some pretty good work for you. They won't be able to tank as much. If you try to make your wolves tank, you're in for a bad time. But Na'Vi, they'll have a decent flow of income coming in from this lane, unless Puppey dies. Oh, Jesus, Puppey. Be careful there. Force on the top lane is up against an aggressive tri-lane. Pudge and aggressive tri-lane, well, okay, this is how Pudge and aggressive tri-lane works. Ideally, like, the reason why you see Pudge in, like, pubs and everything called solo mid, it's not because Pudge is a huge lane controlling hero. He's decent with Rot. If someone gets close, he could punish them, and he gets his levels, if he gets his hook, then he could get a kill really easily. But the reasoning behind that is that Pudge needs a lot of experience. He needs a long hook as fast as he could possibly get it. But in an aggressive tri-lane, he's not going to have the opportunity to get levels. And any levels that he does get will depend heavily upon the success of Kuroki and Alex in their ability to pressure and actually get kills. Now that being said, that's not necessarily a bad thing for Pudge. That just means he's going to have to play a little bit differently, because Pudge, even though he won't have high levels, the Rot does do some pretty good damage early game. Hook is also fairly useful. So Pudge is going to have to make things happen early rather than later. Alex is going to get shackled up, but an instant repel from Kuroki. Very good reaction from him. Dendi has even arrived into this fight. Going to blink forward. They want this kill on the Venomancer. Shadow Strike is going to open up, and Havorse is going to get in range of the clap. Wants the last hit. Arzard says, no, I'm going to take the last hit. The first blood has been drawn by Na'Vi, with Dendi leaving his lane extraordinarily early. But hey, if you leave the lane for an assist, that is totally worth it. A little bit more experience for the Queen of Pain. She's still a little bit behind versus the Pugna. The Pugna's actually having a pretty decent time on this mid lane versus the Queen of Pain.
Denied.
But Queen of Pain did get an assist, so that's a little bit of an evening factor right there. So as I was saying, Black is going to have to play a little bit aggressive. He can contribute to the kill lane not as the farmer, even though he is going to be farming, but he has some pretty substantial contributions just as someone who is going to be adding to the damage. We'll see if he could actually make this happen. Na'Vi, they're definitely smart enough to not open themselves up to any easy hooks. If they get caught in the Rot because of the Gale, then that could be a lot of pain for the Na'Vi side, at least until Havorse gets a couple more levels up. Returning back to this bot lane where you see Light of Heaven, 10-1 versus 22 for 3. As I predicted, Bambo is going to have an edge on this lane, but Clockwork, he's decent on the hard lane just because he could survive. He has very long range with high relatively high damage on that rocket flare. So he could snipe off creep kills and do stuff like that. Arzart gonna race Sing Sing. He's gonna shackle him as Dendy's gonna close in. Scream and Pain only level 1 can get the Shadow Strike doing a lot of damage though. Blast onto both of them. Dendy wants this rune, however. He is going to get it, but at what cost? He doesn't have Blink for another 2 seconds. Is he gonna get brought down before that Blink? Just before the blast lands, and he's gonna salve as well as bottle up. This Queen of Pain's gonna be at full health in no time at all. And ultimately Sing Sing gets denied the rune, but no one actually takes a fall. A couple restoratives forced out, but overall a relatively balanced exchange right there, and Light of Heaven rushing for the Arcane Boots. Typically you don't see an absolute rush for Arcane Boots, but when you rely on the Rocket Flare purely for all of your last hits, then you want that mana, you need that mana if you want to at least try to contest Bambo's farm, which is going to get extremely ridiculous. 30 creep kills, already the most gold per minute, and Clockwork cannot do anything to actually combat this Dark Seer. He is almost level 6, however. So once Clockwork hits level 6, I would expect for Light of Heaven to just completely leave this lane. He's not getting anything out of it anyway. He's just chilling next to Bambo. Bambo does not want to chill next to him. Cogs, as Art is coming to surround to support, Light of Heaven going to hack his way out, and Bambo, shackled in the tier 2 tower, is going to drop to Art. Second kill for the Shadow Shaman. Very, very razor-thin play by Light of Heaven, but hey, if you get a kill or assist, it is all worth it. Art just all over the map with that shackle, and it seemed like a really long range for the tower to be shooting, but hey, if the tower could shoot that far, I'm sure Na'Vi aren't going to argue with that one. A much-needed kill for the Na'Vi side. They needed to bring down this Darkseer, who lost quite a large amount of gold. Excuse me. I probably shouldn't be drinking soda during a cast, but I have this soda that was from like an hour ago, and I kind of want to drink it. Although it's going to get disgusting real soon, so I don't know. We'll see how that turns out. I'll give you an update on the soda at the end of this game. Light of Heaven now has hit the level 6 mark. He does have this hook shot. We're going to see how accurate his hook shots are. Don't know how often Light of Heaven plays this Clockwork, but hell, if you pick up Clockwork in a pro game, with a winner's bracket pro game with a sizable pot of money at the end, you want to have someone who can play Clockwork. So I have faith in Light of Heaven. He's going to have some good hooks, or good hook shots. Black on the top lane has hit that level 4 mark because the Venomancer has wandered down, going to look towards Light of Heaven. Light of Heaven is going to be in a little bit of trouble. He does have the power cogs, and he's just instead going to teleport out. Not going to happen, though. Light of Heaven is going to try to cog his way out of here, but it's not going to work. Darkseer with the Ion Shell, poking and prodding into Clockwork, and he's going to get that kill. Retaliation kill on the spot lane. Bambo's going to take full advantage of that. He's going to push as hard as he can with Venomancer to support as well. Level 3 wards on the Venomancer. This tower is probably going to go down at the next creep wave. The creep wave is going to get shredded by Bambo, who wouldn't be surprised if he just lane cut the entire thing. But expect the bottom tier 1 tower to go down. It will be fortified, but I'm not exactly sure if that'll save him. In the meantime, the top lane, 25 for 5 versus 39 for 10. Black having the time of his life on this top lane. Vorst is kind of struggling. He doesn't have any explicit support. His support hero in Art has left down to the bot lane and kind of sticking around the mid lane for a little bit unsuccessfully, so a little bit of wasted time for the Shadow Shaman and Puppey. And what the hell is Puppey going to do to support a Brewmaster on this top lane? Level 6 now, so he can get a couple of kills, but he does have a bottle, so he's gonna hold out for quite a while until he could actually get any of his core items up, be it the Medallion, Vlad's, BKB, any of that good stuff. He's farming relatively well though, gold per minute not really reflecting that, but he is level 6, so the experience is flowing for Puppey. And now with Arzart returning to this top lane, they might want to look to get a kill onto one of these heroes, but Omni Knight will be very hard to kill. You have to just chain lock him perfectly, or else that purification will pretty much undo all of the hard work that you've put into it. Then if you go for Pudge, he could just turn around and fight because he will have the Omni Knight to back him up, so this could be a little bit risky, but they're going to go for it anyway. Arzart, he needs the Hex, but it's not going to happen. I don't believe they could actually kill this lane, because the Pudge and Omni Knight, even though they don't have much lane control between the two of them, they do have an extraordinary amount of survivability. And they're kind of flexing it right now. Black being very, very aggressive, even though it's 2 versus 3, and even though he's a melee hero with another melee hero to support. But that top lane looks like it's going to calm down just a little bit. Light of Heaven still on this bot lane, just trying to rely on the rocket flares, making sure Bambo doesn't play the huge aggressive Broodmother-esque type of role as that Darkseer. Clockwork should be able to do decently with that. he is going to have to eventually leave the lane and actually get a couple of hook shot ganks. But I mean, he does have a little bit more time before this team actually needs him, because it's still 2-1. His team is doing just fine without him, so you might as well just try to get as much farm, try to shut down the Darkseer as much as you can. Forced, narrowly dodging hooks. And Pudge is not yet level 6. That repel rot combo is pretty devastating. It feels cheap when you play against it. You're like, is this really supposed to be like this? This is kind of absurd. Tier 1 tower in the top lane with 4 heroes. Alex with the Plague Ward, Sing Sing with the level 4 blast. They're going to try to take this tower down, and everyone from Na'Vi is actually leaving the lane. They're going to give up this top tower. Rocket Flare is just to harass because it's so easy to do so, and the tower is going to drop to the Venomancer. Going to give a little bit more gold to him, but in the meantime, Na'Vi, they want to trade. They're going to try to go for the tier 1 mid. Bambo on the front lines. Got to watch out for a Hex. There's the Hex, and the Shackle as well. Shackle from long range. Dendi blinks in, takes a large amount of damage. He's going to drop to Sing Sing. No, he's not. 36 HP. He's going to survive, at least try to, as he runs away. Blocking the blind hook. Not going to latch. The only one to die is the Lycan and Art. Well, I say only one to die, but they do pick up the Shadow Shaman, and they do pick up the Lycanthrope. That could have been so very close. They didn't even get Bambo. He's not necessarily a huge tanky hero yet, but they dove the tower, and that Nether Ward maxed out 1.75 multiplier on mana. Huge amounts of damage flying through there. Havor's going to try to defend his tier 1 mid tower. Black is going to get repelled, and now Havor's is all alone. Teleportation coming up. It is going to be Puppy, possibly chase down Alex. Arzard is here for the Shackle. Alex is going to be so very dead. Going to get a Gale off before he dies. Bambo, very low HP. There's the hook shot from Light of Heaven. Bambo is trapped in a cage match. Going to vacuum out the Clockwork Goblin, but I don't think it's going to save him. He's going to get hacked down by the wrench of the Clockwork Goblin. In the meantime, Puppy and Dendi bringing down the Pudge, and now Sing Sing on the run. He's probably going to drop as well. Havor circling around is going to have a clap, not going to need it, as Dendi picks up a double kill. GDB have lost 4 in this exchange, I believe. Havorst hasn't even used his Primal Split yet, and that's going to mean a tier 1 mid tower. Na'Vi bringing the heat and bringing it in early. Light of Heaven playing very well with the cogs, with the hook shots, and I think the one who's playing the best, I have to say, is Arzart. He's just all over the place. Those disables, so very vicious. 2-1-1, 1,000 gold in the bank. He's doing just fine, but Na'Vi, they just caught to GDB at a point where they didn't expect someone to actually be countering. They got a pretty large amount of kills, and they killed off the Lycanthrope, they killed off Arzart, and they decided the tier 1 mid tower would be easy pickings, and quite honestly, it did look like that, even from my observer perspective. But Na'Vi, they knew exactly how powerful their heroes were. They went straight in, and I think a lot of their fights hinge upon whether or not they kill off this Nether Ward. If they do manage to bring that up, the Queen of Pain is going to survive for a lot longer. And, well, Shadow Shaman also has some pretty steep mana costs as well, combined with a low HP pool. So they have to bring down that Nether Ward. If not, they're going to lose the fight. If they do bring it down, well, the fight's going to be a little bit more even. I don't know if they're actually going to win. Is Dendi going to open up with Scream Pain onto 4? Blink his way out immediately, but the hook, got to watch out for the hook, man. Black is looking for it. He's looking for it. Brewmaster picks up a Blink Dagger. Is he going to have it for this fight? I don't believe so. He's still on the top lane. He actually does have it in his inventory right now. Hook's going to fly out as Black. Does get a Dismember onto Puppy. Hook shot, as well as 2-man cog. Alex and Kuroki trapped as Dendi. Going to clean up for them. Havor's unable to get a split off before he does go down, but Sing Sing is trapped in wards. Bambo trying to do as much damage as he can. He's going to get 1 kill. He's going to get 2 kills, but Sing Sing still trapped in those wards. Going to terrify himself. Dendi going to try to blink away. And where is Havor's? Havor's actually, well, he went down without using his Primal Split. I just said that. Not even listening to myself. And GDB taking a very good fight this time, as they actually kept the Nether Ward alive for a good portion of that. And Na'Vi, I don't think Havor's has actually used the Primal Split once. Once again, beautiful play by the Clockwork. And oh, Dendi, he's not done yet. He's going to get Dismembered. Hook as well, trying to pick off one, or possibly both. Didn't get any of it. And that is going to tie this score up 8-8. Let's take a look at how the grass are doing. Almost at 0 gold advantage. Slight experience advantage in favor of Na'Vi, but that's only like a 3-digit experience advantage there. So it's not really substantial by any means. This game is so very razor thin. But even though it is razor thin, you know what? That does favor Na'Vi. They have the Lycanthrope, who is such a dominant late game hero, even though he did get nerfed. That is mostly an early game nerf for him, which means his late game is going to be delayed. But if you could draw the game on, that is going to favor Na'Vi quite a bit. GDB, they're going to not have that huge right-click damage dealer, as I was mentioning during the draft. And if they're going to get a pick on this Omni Knight, that could help them that much more. Kuroki is going to need support right now, but I don't think support is coming. Horse is there. He's going to wail on this Omni Knight. Not yet level 6. He's going to get swatted down by the big stick of Horse. With that very easy kill, they're going to try to take down this tier 1 bottom lane. It's going to be a tier 1 for a tier 1. I'm sure both teams will be okay with that. Although, GDB could keep going. They do have the Plague Wards, they do have Ion Shell. And Na'Vi, they do have Serpent Wards, so they can keep going as well, but I don't think they'll be willing to make this trade. The Rocket Flare supply will thin out the creep wave in the mid lane. So it looks like it's just going to be a tier 1 for tier 1 GDB. They have to keep pouring on this pressure. If they don't, they lose. Dendi, oh, Vacuum. I don't know if the Vacuum actually saved Dendi from that hook, but either way, the hook did miss. And now Na'Vi, they're all wandering around. They want blood. Both of these teams are so friggin' aggressive. Dendi gonna blink straight forward. Black trying to get his member off. Not gonna happen. Blink forward from Horse. Is he gonna finally get his split off? Yes, he is. Alex does get his ultimate off onto 2 or 3 hero. Here's a huge hook shot plus a 3-man cog. Huge plays by the Clockwork Goblin, but everyone gets vacuumed out. Actually, a ward trap is on Black, and he's getting wailed upon by the Pandaren Brewmaster split. The Purification is there to save him, plus a mech charge, and no one is actually dying quite yet. There's the Guardian Angel. Everyone from Na'Vi has to fall back at least until that spell is over. Pudge with the long range hook is going to pick up the Shadow Shaman, and everyone from GDB living at such low amounts of HP. Are Na'Vi going to return for this? They do have the cogs, the flares, I'm sorry, to constantly fly out, but the heals are too strong from GDB. Bambo, I believe, has the mech. No, who has the mech? Oh, okay, Sing Sing has the mech. But mech is up on the GDB side. Purification, Guardian Angel, so many defensive spells that really Na'Vi, they have to burst people down, but the only one who actually do that is the Queen of Pain. Once again, a beautiful cog from the Clockwork, catching 3. I don't know how he does it. I don't know how Clockwork players do it in general, because I completely suck with Clockwork Goblin. I cannot do that kind of things. I would miss the hook shot and then walk in and get like a one-man cog and push like everyone out of a black hole or something like that. That's the kind of thing that I would do, but so far Light of Heaven has been pretty on point. But the score still sits at 9-9, even though Na'Vi have had some pretty good engagements. The defensive capabilities from GDB absolutely astounding. And you know what? Their defensive capabilities are going to get stronger and stronger. Surge still has one more level up. The Pudge still doesn't have any of his flesh heaps, so he will have Magic Immunity coming relatively shortly. The Repel and Purification still not yet maxed out, not to mention the Degen Aura, which hasn't even been touched. Even though that is the case, Na'Vi, they still do have increasing power as far as their offensive capabilities are concerned. It's going to be Shadow Shaman with more disabled, Puppy with more damage, Brewmaster with the higher level of ultimates, Queen of Pain with more nukes, all that good stuff. So ultimately the question is, can GDB withstand the brunt of Na'Vi's assault? If they could withstand the hookshot, if they could withstand the ward trap, the sonic wave, the lycanthrope shapeshift, then they'll be in prime condition to win the game. Or at least win the fight. We're not talking about winning the game yet. It's 17 minutes in and it's 9-9, so at least win the fight. But looks like Na'Vi, they're going to sack a tier 2 tower in exchange for Roshan. Puppy, gotta watch out for that, man. Horse is in the front lines to tank, and he'll bottle up. He should be fine. This Roshan is not attacking at all. Roshan, go home. You're drunk. Clearly. Roshan is going to be dropped. Who's going to pick up the Roshan? It is going to be the Queen of Pain. I do believe that is the right choice. Queen of Pain is the most valuable hero as far as damage output right now. Tower does get destroyed. The fortification was available, not used. No point in using a fortification when you can't capitalize on it in some way. Roshan for a tier 2. That's going to benefit GDB in the short run. But in the long run, that is going to benefit Na'Vi. The Aegis is probably going to be used, so look towards Na'Vi making something happen. But GDB, as I was saying before, they have to pour on the pressure, and that's exactly what they're doing. Na'Vi, I don't think they expected GDB to continue pushing this, and they have to go right now. Fortification now does pop off. Not Puppy, though, very, very weak. They have to wait for this Lycanthrope to heal up. The Lycan Wolf sniping the ward. Huge pickup for the Na'Vi side as Force jumps right in for a 4-man clap plus a 4-man Sonic Wave. Split is there. Light of Heaven going to go straight on to Alex. He's going to bring him down, but now he's trapped, getting drained by Sing Sing. Going to force to break that out as he lands a 2-man blast, but it's not going to be enough. Sing Sing is on the run, 40 HP. He's going to drop as well. The only one from GDB to get out of there alive was the Pudge, who I believe teleported out. But it is a triple kill for Na'Vi. Beautiful spell usage, hitting 3 or 4. Usually you hit like that max 2 on the clap, but a 4-man clap from Horse doing some heavy damage. Combine that with a 3-man Sonic Wave. Of course, Scream and Pain hits friggin' everything. and just huge magical damage. Na'Vi getting a lot of bang for their buck, and GDB, they simply crumbled. There was nothing that they could have done. They were burst down so very quickly. No time for Guardian Angel, no time to decide who to purify because, well, you're dead. There's no time. There's just no time. And combine that with the fact that, well, Pogna didn't have his Nether Ward sniped off by Puppey. That's exactly what Na'Vi have to do. They have to take out that Nether Ward, because if that Nether Ward was there, the Sonic Wave would have been punished so hard. Everything the Queen of Pain did would have been punished extremely hard. Probably wouldn't have killed her. Definitely would not have died because of that Aegis, but it would have put a lot more damage into Dendy, possibly forced him back, changed how that fight was played out. But still, the Nether Ward is a crucial part of GDB's victory. They have to keep it alive. They have to be very smart with when they place it down. Black going to get repelled, and he's looking for a hook. He's going to go fishing, but Dendy and Arzar, they do know where the Pudge is, especially since he is now right next to the Tier 2 tower. GDB pushing this Tier 2 on the mid lane. In the meantime, Na'Vi going to take down the Tier 1. They are going to get that Tier 1, and the Tier 2 does hold. So far this trade does benefit Na'Vi. They should push out the creep wave a little bit more and then teleport back. I don't think they have enough firepower with just the Pandaren Brewmaster as well as the Lycanthrope to bring down a Tier 2. Tier 2 has been brought down in the mid lane, and GDB, they're just going to take a tour of the Tier 2s, I believe, unless they're going to teleport back in. That teleportation is in the middle of nowhere. Havorst and Puppey, they have to get out of here right now. Black is taking a little bit of damage from the Wolves. The hook not going to latch as Havorst does blink out. Everyone gets out alive. In the meantime, Kurogi getting left for dead in this mid lane. I guess he just got hit by a long-range ball or hook shot. No. I guess just got hexed, getting a little bit too close, and then ended up getting picked off. Shit happens though. Kurogi did drop for that one. They did defend their Tier 2 on the top lane, but it did take some pretty substantial damage. And GDB, I do like the way that they're playing it. They're playing very aggressive. They know that all their heroes are more on the early side of the game. They wait too long, they're going to be way over their heads. And they're doing exactly what they need to do, and I do like seeing that from teams. However, the Na'Vi side, they're just defending impeccably. They're making trades, they're forcing GDB back, not through fights, but by pressure on side lanes. That's something that Lycanthrope does offer you. The Wolves do have some pretty high damage, even with Howl, which is only level 1, but you know, in a couple levels it will get pretty friggin' strong. Puppey pressuring people back with those Wolves, pushing out the lane. And GDB, they're not able to make the pushes that they want, because you know what, if they do push, everyone except for the Lycanthrope, they're capable of defending the high ground. It's more than possible for them to do so. So GDB will be walled off right here, and their top lane will be pushed, or their bottom lane will be pushed. That means that's more and more time where both the Lycanthrope, he's getting farm, and GDB, they're not pushing. They are a team that relies on pushing. They need to get the ganks, and if they don't get those to happen, well, then they're simply not going to win the game. So Na'Vi, they are in no rush. They're pressuring back, playing kind of defensively through offense. As they say, the best defense is a good offense. So they're not actually looking to take towers through fights. They're just trying to make sure that GDB are forced back constantly. You can see Na'Vi, they are aware that GDB are pushing very aggressively on the top lane, but they are also aware that they have a ton of damage and they can take down this Tier 2 tower and then teleport back by the time GDB reach their Tier 3s. Havorst does have his level 2 primal split up, and everyone from Na'Vi is returning back to the base. Look towards the Nether Ward snipe once again. If that happens, it's going to be huge for Na'Vi. Everyone's teleporting back. Fortification is not up quite yet. And Black, he wants to get a hook, but is that actually possible? Dendy with an invisibility rune as the split does happen. Going on to Alex, huge Sonic Wave onto 3. Kurogi does pop his Guardian Angel. Sing Sing does take a purification as well. Alex trying to run away at very low HP. Is he going to get out? I don't think he is. A rock plus Scream Pain is going to bring him down. Kurogi as well as Sing Sing getting chased down by wolves right up their faces. Kurogi is going to try to repel himself. Not going to work as the Darkseer is spun up into the air. Going to try to surge himself out. He's going to get hexed, but he's the fastest moving chicken I've ever seen. Sing Sing is going to live by teleporting himself out of here, but Bambo, I do not like your odds. Going to pull Havorst up under the high ground, but he does have a Blink Dagger, so he's going to get down in just a little bit of time. Bambo looks like he is going to escape. And Na'Vi making a 3-for-1 trade. Don't know if they sniped off that Nether Ward this time, but you know what? It didn't matter because Sonic Wave, they got so much mileage out of that, and Dendy going for Diffusal Blade. Diffusal Blade. Now, it's not a standard item on Queen of Pain. There is no game where someone's like, yeah, you pick Queen of Pain, you go for Power Treads, Black King Bar into Diffusal Blade, because I don't think any hero does that at all. Maybe this is like a Ricky Maru build, if anything. But let me tell you why Dendi is getting this Diffusal Blade for Repel. If I remember correctly, you can purge off Repel. I think that they've been like switching how that worked for like the past 1,000,000 versions, but I'm just gonna assume it's for that Repel, because why the hell would you get it? And if you take that Repel off, well then that's a lot more damage the Queen of Pain could actually put out herself. So I do like the idea, but the question is Dendi the one to get it? Could Queen of Pain actually make use of that Diffusal Blade? Purge is great for chasing, it's fantastic, but then again it's like, why doesn't Lycanthrope get it? He could use the chasing power, he could use a little bit of mana burn on his attacks. I don't know if Dendi's necessarily the best one to get it, but he will have it nonetheless, relatively shortly as well. And now GDB, they know that they're very close to this tier 3 mid tower. This is not the mid lane, tier 3 top tower. They're just going to keep pushing this in. Blast is going to bring it down. Fortification, not effective at all. And now, are they going to push in? Brewmaster wants to wait another 9 seconds. The Nether Ward is going to get sniped. This is going to be very bad for GDB if they decide to stick and fight. Bambo, hookshot is not going to latch, and this looks like this is going to be an even fight. No, Puppy stuck on the high ground. He doesn't have a TP scroll. This is going to be horrible for Na'Vi, I think. Light of Heaven is going to get dismembered. He should be brought down. The mech does pop off, though, and Sing Sing getting wailed upon by the Brewmaster ultimate. Light of Heaven does pick up one onto Sing Sing. Black Purge, unable to get close to anyone, really. Light of Heaven does make his way out. Alex going to get some poison damage on him, but Light of Heaven should drop to the creeps or something. 3 HP, 2 HP. He's going to live just barely. Bambo with the vacuum is going to bring him down. Puppy has teleported out of there, but it doesn't matter because Dendi has picked up an unstoppable streak, and it is once again a 4-for-1 trade. Even without the Lycanthrope, Na'Vi pulling out some huge plays. No Nether Ward from GDB once again. And that Purge keeping Pudge away from everything. Pudge was constantly on the fringes of that fight, which is typically what you want as Pudge, but not when you actually need to do the damage. You have to throw out something. Purge keeping him out of there, and looks like the Diffusal Blade was effective for Na'Vi. This is just another reason why I tell people, do not, if you are new, watch these types of games and go, oh, Queen of Pain, hell yeah, I'm going to get BKB and I'm going to get Diffusal Blade. If you do that, you'll be laughed at, quite honestly, unless there are certain circumstances where Diffusal Blade makes complete and utter sense. And as a noob, you wouldn't be able to recognize those situations. So avoid doing that, and if anyone thinks that noobs should still benefit from watching and copying what Dendi does, then, well, I would love to discuss that with you. But I wouldn't recommend a Diffusal Blade Queen of Pain build. I would not recommend it.
Haste.
I just wouldn't. Alright. But Na'Vi currently at a 10-kill advantage. The lead is not the hugest. Oh, well, experience is pretty darn huge, actually. But they're doing pretty well for themselves. Even with no Lycanthrope in that fight, they managed to clean up pretty decently. This Pugna Ward is not durable enough to stay for the entire fight. Puppy has been on point with his wolves, bringing those wards down, and hey, that's a lot of damage. Is not going Na'Vi's way. I don't know if Queen of Pain has actually used the Aegis or just timed out. Roshan is back alive. I don't believe I saw Dendi burn the Aegis. Dendi and Arzard, they gotta teleport back right now. GDB at this point are acting out in desperation. They still are very capable of winning fights, but they need to take Raxes. Their team is not built for the late game, as I keep on mentioning, and if they stick around for too long, they're not going to be able to win. They're going to keep trying, keep pushing their way in, trying to get the Raxes, and Dendi's going to get hooked. This could be exactly what they need. Dendi's going to get brought down. Hookshot in from Light of Heaven, going to catch only Sing Sing. That might be enough. The Nether Ward is dropped. Is it going to be brought down? No, it is not going to be brought down. Na'Vi, they have already taken down Sing Sing as forces in the back end with his split. Guardian Angel has been popped. Bambo is trying to make his way out, but the Guardian Angel is not going to save him enough. Art with the shackle onto Black. They want to bring down this Pudge. Are they going to be able to? Yes, they are going to be able to. Black is going to get a last hook before he does go down, but this time the fight is not going to go in GDB's way at all. Not a 4-for-1 trade. This time it is going to be a 5 4-0 unless Kuroki with the miraculous TP. It is going to be a 4-0. But these fights slowly slipping away from GDB. They need to take the Raxes, but the Raxes remain, well, relatively untouched. And GDB, their fights are going better and better. Queen of Pain building up an MKB. Or, I hope not Basher, quite honestly. Actually, screw it. I do hope it's a Basher. Ranged heroes with Basher on a Queen of Pain of all heroes? Yeah, I'd like to see that. I would very much like to see that. But Na'Vi, you see, they're gearing up their Queen of Pain for the late game. This is like a DPS build. They know that GDB does not have the DPS, and they know if that Dendi could be punished severely if he has, with that Nether Ward on the ground. Might as well just say, screw that, let's build damage. That's at least how I plan to rationalize it. Not sure if that's exactly what Dendi's thinking, but either way, the game is clearly going in Navi's favor. GDB, they are so focused on these Raxes, and I simply don't believe that it's possible for them to do it just by straight pushing in. The Pugna Blast is starting to get less and less effective. The Nether Ward is doing some pretty good work. But really, there's not enough damage coming out from GDB. They have amazing sustain, but all their damage is... I don't even know where all their damage is coming from. For one, it's all magical. Wall of Replica will be doing some pretty heavy damage a little bit later. Right now, it's not doing the most. But GDB's damage are mostly magical, and it's there's no pipe yet, but there are a couple BKBs. 2 BKBs, plus a mech, plus, yeah, just general tankiness, really. And Na'Vi, they're going to withstand all the magical damage that GDB have to throw at them. They're going to snipe down this tier 2 mid lane and then teleport back to defend their own Raxes. The tower is going to drop, and Dendi's going to put as much pressure as he can and teleport back to the base. Here we go. This, I believe, is GDB's last chance. If this does not go well, that is going to be it. Puppy's going to get hooked out, instantly transforming, but is it going to be enough? Force going to blink straight in, going to get that pull off, that ultimate off. The Wall of Replica not in the best position. No one's actually walking through it. Light of Heaven is going to trap 2 in the cogs as a Sonic Wave does fly out. Dendi doing some heavy damage with that BKB active. Going to try to go for that Pudge. He does get a hook as he gets decrypified by his friendly, but Na'Vi, this fight isn't as good for them as the last fight, but I do think it's good enough. They're going to get 3 without losing any. They're going to get possibly 4. Alex is getting worked upon by the Wolves. This is going to be that 5-0 wipe that I was talking about. The clap not in range, but I don't think Alex has any chance of surviving this. It is going to be a 5-man team wipe with Dendi picking up an ultra kill. And 11-30 GDB, they are running out of steam. That fight with the initiation onto Puppy, I mean, I guess you could get initiation onto R's Art and that would be a little bit more reliable, but by the time the Shadow Shaman is pulled, you realize it and you pop off that BKB and then Dismember does nothing. Rot does nothing. And really, I think that GDB are running out of gas. They need to get a pick off or something. They need these Raxes so badly, but even if they do get the Raxes, Na'Vi, they have a stacked Lycanthrope. They have a Queen of Pain who's going to be doing some heavy damage, who already is, quite frankly, doing some heavy damage with these Javelins. By the way, Javelins are such a useless item. So expensive for, like, no damage. It's crazy. But they could hold 1 Raxes. GDB, at this point, they need 2 Raxes. And they have none. So, looks like Na'Vi this time, they're going to be ones bringing the heat. They're going to initiate onto Black and take the hook shot, and he's going to get completely surrounded. Puppy going to try to go for Alex. In the meantime, Black does get himself 4-staffed out, but is it going to be enough? He gets purged, and Dendi is there with the Scream of Pain, going to do some heavy damage to Kuroki as well. 189 damage. The rocket is going to fly. The Necro minions there as well. And Bambo trying to make something happen with the Wall of Replica, doing some pretty heavy damage, but I don't think it's enough. No one is actually dying from Navi's side, except for Queen of Pain, who has the Aegis Burn. Sing Sing is going to get ward trapped and shocked down by Arzart, and that is going to be another 5-0 exchange in favor of Na'Vi. Ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be GG. There is nothing that GDB can do at this point. Their Raxes are getting sieged. They cannot take a 5v5 fight. The only hope that they have is that Na'Vi, they all suddenly have brain aneurysms and heart attacks and strokes and everything, and they're unable to finish the game. But even then, I'm pretty sure their heroes on A move will be able to take down the GDB side. The Raxes are going to start to fall as Join Dota Toby 1 reminds people to have manners. I don't think the spectators could actually see, but yeah, GDB, they don't want to call GG when it's a high-profile game like that. You want to stick it out as much as you can, but quite honestly, there's nothing that they could do. Puppy with the wolves, and Howl is going to demolish this tower, and Hook is going to lash one more time. Just remember, not doing enough to Puppy, though. You can see he just pops off that wolf form, turns around, and then rips Black a new one. That's going to be it. Dendy picking up all these kills. How is Dendy picking up all these kills? I know he does some pretty high damage, but shit, that's it's crazy amount of damage. Mega kills for anyone, and Bambo saying backdoor? I don't know. But right now, Navi, they're just fountain farming. No HP, no problem. 11 to 41 in the GG, finally called by the GDB squad. So that's going to be it for this series. It took me like a week and a half to finish it. But that is going to be it. Navi take this game. They're going to move on to the winner's bracket. And GDB, they're going to drop down to face the winner of Pulse versus Empire, I believe. I don't think I've casted Pulse vs. Empire yet. And that should be it. So if you enjoyed this cast, please like, subscribe, tell your friends, all that good stuff. And if you do so, I will give you a high five next time I see you. And now that I'm done, or pretty much done with the semester, I should be able to get a lot more content. So let me know what you guys want to see. If you want to see like a specific hero in the if you want to see me play a specific hero, I'll try my best to make that happen. Just as long as it's not Storm Spirit, because that sure as hell isn't going to happen, and no Broodmother games either. After the day after I uploaded that Broodmother game, I had another hour-long Broodmother game. It was horrible, so I cannot take any more Broodmother. But let me know what you guys want to see. I'll try my best to make that happen. Let's speed through this, actually. I'm going to try to get through the rest of this tournament, hopefully before I go home for break, because it is going to be Christmas very soon, which is very exciting. If you don't celebrate Christmas, well then appreciate the fact that you do not have class or work. So that's going to be it from you guys. Navi move on, GDB drop down. More games to come in the future. GG. By the way, the soda's still pretty good.